Hello, good evening everyone. Our friend, welcome again to our channel Enabling Supply Chain Management. And today is a very special because we will have a different concept. Not only two of us in here, but we will have four, yeah, four of us in one channel to speak about digitalization in business during pandemic. So we will discuss what is the pro, what is the cons, what is the benefits, what is the losses, and we will have me as a host. I am Efrata, and then we will have subject matter expert, Mr. Suryo Prasetya, and then we will have two speakers, which is Mr. Chrisnove Harisandi and Mr. Fadjar Andi Wibowo. And first, I want to introduce you our subject matter expert, which is Mr. Suryo Prasetya. Hello, Mr. Suryo, how are you?
Halo Pak Efrata, I'm fine, thank you.
Yeah, can you tell a brief about yourself and why? What do you want to talk in the digitalization business during pandemic topics?
Yes, my name is Suryo Prasetya. I'm working at the finance industry, and I also like to watch about the digitalization industry, and I study some data from top consultants that I love to share in here.
Okay, lovely. Yeah, very good. And then we look forward about your presentation. So thank you. We will come back to you again, Mr. Suryo. So now we will have our speaker. The first is Mr. Chrisnove. How are you, Mr. Chrisnove?
Hello. Hi, everybody, friends and professionals. My name is Chrisnove, and I'm here to defend the digitalization in business during pandemic as a professional in lean and in IT, ICT environment. So this is my thing with IT and also marketing. And I hope that I will defend this process until everyone got to know that digitalization is the best.
Okay, you want to defend, yeah, defend again. who want to who want to attack you, Mr. Chrisnove? So
I think
everyone.
someone called his name Mr. Fadjar, I think.
Okay, so we will come back to you again, yeah, because you
Yeah.
said you want to defend. And please introduce Mr. Fadjar Andi Wibowo. Hello, Mr. Fadjar. Good evening.
Good evening, Pak Efrata,
Yeah, can you
and
tell
also good
brief?
evening, everyone.
Yeah, yeah. Please tell brief about yourself, and then what do you want to talk about digitalization business during pandemic tonight?
Yeah, pleasant to meet you all. My name Fadjar Andi Wibowo. I'm a professional working for manufacturing industry, especially for specialty paper and packaging. So my function actually is in supply chain and procurement. So here I want to make a challenge, or I can say that digitalization not bring all the benefits for everyone or every business because there is many negative ways in the
Wow.
digitalization. So I
Okay.
will challenge Pak Krishnov
Okay.
for that one.
Wow, yeah. So we will have a quite good conversation tonight. Thank you, Mr. Fajar. Please hold for your ideas, and then we will continue with discussion between four of us. Yeah. So this is four of us in one screen. You can see all of us in here. So we will talk about digitalization in business during pandemic. And first, we will have our menti.com, yeah, as usually. Friends, we sure that if you already know us in our channel, so we always start with menti.com. Where is the menti? Okay, yeah, this is the menti.com. Please prepare your mobile phone or your browser in your laptops or in your tablets. Yeah, please open menti.com. Yeah, please go to menti.com and then put the code 9907463. Yeah, please open it and put one word about business digitalization. Yeah, this is a real interaction. So if you put the word in your browser in the menti.com, then it will appear in the screen in here. Yeah, please put there digitalization in business during pandemic, which is our topic tonight. But please put one word about business digitalization. Yeah, we can see shifting. Okay, thank you, Amas. Maybe we can have a comment from Mr. Suryo as our subject matter expert. What do you think about the word in here, Mr. Suryo?
Yes, thank you, Pak Efrata. Shifting is, of course, we can see later the data showing many customer is shifting from offline to online. COVID-19, yes, it's happened because of COVID-19 pandemic. It's a must. Many people say so, but maybe some other people don't think that's a must. That's the interesting point. Bankrupt, yes, to avoid bankrupt, some business should change.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Suryo. And how about you, Mr. Chrisnove, who want to defend the digitalization? What do you think about the words in here?
Well, there's a lot of people saying that e-marketplace became it's prevalent now because e-marketplace has become something that's so massively expanding. So it's because of digitalization. And then, okay, the shifting, the pandemic. Oh yeah, there's the computer. Okay, so the computer really plays a really good part in this process of digitalization. Then, what else? Well, money. Of course, digitalization is not just about playing in digitals, but of course, in the end, it's all about money. So money plays important things to this digitalization.
Okay, yeah. It looks like all words is important, yeah. Thank you, Mr. Chrisnove.
Yes.
How about you, Mr. Fadjar, who wants to challenge Mr. Chrisnove?
Yeah, of course. I was thinking about the risks and also the common enemy which is inside of the digitalization, because digitalization something that make up people convert, but in the other hand, there is a hidden problem in the digitalization itself. For example, what we saw here, there is a fraud, there is a risk, and there is also a bankrupt. You see, this is actually a sign that I think we are not talking about all the positive about digitalization. So I think I will try to elaborate something that already appear in the Menti.
Okay, yeah. We can look in here that the internet quite a big number of people mention about the internet, yeah. So what do you think, Mr. Suryo, as our semi? Is it related internet with the digitalization?
Of course, without internet, there's no such thing of business digitalization.
Yeah, this is a very strong statement, yeah. Thank you, Mr. Suryo. I think enough for playing. What do you think, friends? We can start with the discussion. Do you agree?
Sure.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
we
Pak.
will start the presentation from Mr. Subject matter expert tonight, which is Mr. Suryo, and then we can continue with the discussion between Mr. Chrisnove and then Mr. Fadjar. Yeah. So what we will talk about tonight is again we will have a discussion about digitalization in business during pandemic. So a little bit background about digitalization, especially during this pandemic. You can see that our education from high school, so and then the lower degree, and then also if we go to the university, most of students and then the lecturers move to the digital. Yeah, of course, this is happen suddenly because nobody expect this, and then they don't have any activities face to face, but they move to the laptops or move to their mobile phones. But of course this is a downside also, yeah. About the cost, maybe we can talk about how about the income of the people, mostly in Indonesia, uh, because not everyone can get the internet, yeah, because if we talk about digitalization, and then we must have the internet. And then the good things, maybe we are moving forward, yeah, to see the pandemics. So we can see what is the opinion from Mr. Suryo as our subject matter expert tonight. And then, of course, we can discuss what is the downside, what is the benefits of the digitalization during pandemic. Okay, Mr. Suryo, your turns to do the presentations.
Okay. Thank you, Pak Efrata. Can we go to the first slide? Okay. So, what I would like to explain here is all purely survey result. This survey is conducted by top consultant, which is McKinsey, and the survey is taken place in Indonesia. There's more than 700 respondents for this survey, and the surveys is happen during this COVID-19 pandemic time. So the first data that's shown here is spending impact per category. So the respondent is asked in the next 2 weeks for each category, will you spend the same amount or less or more products? So the black one is showing the black bar is showing the decrease. The gray one is showing the same amounts, and the blue show that the respondents say they expect spend more product for this category. So the overall category that increase is the one that have a blue bar bigger than the black bar. Will that category will have the net results. More people want to buy these products. So which one product included in this category? There are groceries, snacks, non-child product, household supplies, personal care, entertainment at home. those categories is the one who have more people want to buy more compared to less buying. What is the connecting line for this category? As you can see, all of that category is the one that you can buy it by online, and you can enjoy it at home, or you can enjoy it online. The things like travels or domestic flight, you may can buy it online, but you cannot enjoy it at home, or you cannot enjoy it online. Okay, and the other connecting lines for this category is it is a basic need at home for you doing work from home, or your kids doing school from home, or you enjoy your life at home. So the products that not a basic need for your needs at home, like jewelry, apparel, clothing, footwear, that uh, no use now. You buy that product, jewelry. You only can wear it at home. Not in the outside, not in the public. So those categories is not favorable for this COVID-19 pandemic. We can move on to the this one. So this survey, in this survey, respondent asked where you shop this for each category now, and where you will shop this category in the next 2 weeks. So you can see in the left quadrant, in the left axis is in-store shopping, and in the bottom axis is online shopping. The negative numbers is showing that it is decreasing. The positive numbers is showing it is increasing. So, for example, in the black dot in the left side, tobacco, there is a decrease in in-store shopping, but there's also decrease in online shopping. So tobacco and jewelry, both offline and online store, people stop to buying this product. On the right side, you can see the blue, many blue circles. Blue circles is showing that is food or household essentials, like snacks, groceries, household supplies. So those kind of category have less decrease for the offline shopping. It only like minus 20% decrease. But in the online shopping, they have an increase 15 to 25%. So more or less, the decrease in the offline store is covered by increase in online shopping. And the special one you can see in the light blue circles in the right side, entertainment at homes. This is showing that this category have like 50% increase in online shopping, and decrease around 40% in offline store. Okay, the next one, how the changing of shopping behavior. So the respondent is asked the question, what is new things that you try after COVID pandemic happened in Indonesia? So 92% is 92% respondent try a new shopping behavior with specifically 58% saying that they're trying new digital shopping methods. 48% say they try new shopping methods. 37% people saying they try different brands compared that the brand that they buy before COVID. 34% saying they're buying from private labels or store brand, and 29% saying they try different retailer or store different website. So many people, this is showing that COVID-19 is causing customers to try new things compared to the regular things that they done before the COVID. Okay, next slide. Okay, this is show comparison the online channel portion before COVID happened and after COVID pandemic happened in Indonesia. So the question is the black, sorry, the black blue is showing before how many percentage of that category you buy at the online store. So like for example the groceries, the average of respondents saying that 37% of their groceries they buy it and at the online store before COVID, and after COVID there's an increment of 18%. So makes the growth is 49%. So you can see here two things. The first one is what category is before COVID is already many people buy online. So the highest one is the entertainment at home is 82% already buy it at online store before COVID. That makes sense, yeah. Like people already watch Netflix, for example, before COVID happened, and therefore the additional after COVID is not so much because most of the people already do it online before COVID. And things like food takeout and delivery, for the big examples here, like GoFood and GrabFood, yeah, and delivery, a lot of people already doing that before COVID. So, but now they still have quite a lot of increments after COVID. So it's already a total nearly 80 to 90% doing this online. And maybe the next to highlight is the like skincare and where apparently about 63% already buy it online, and the additional after COVID is 15%. Okay, we can go to the next slide. Okay, the question here for the respondent is, have you used or done any following these things since the COVID started? So the biggest one here, the black bars, the blue, dark blue bars is indicate that they're using more than before COVID. The light blue bars is saying before COVID they don't do it at all. This is their first time doing it after the COVID. And the gray one is they're saying they using it less after the COVID. And the white one, the white bars is saying they are not using it even after the COVID. So, which thing that have the biggest increment after COVID? First one is video conference, like Zoom, Webex, Google Maps, like 21% is for the first time using it after the COVID, and another 21% is saying they do it before. They use Webex or Zoom before in the office for video conference, but now they use it a lot more often. And the other things that have a biggest increase is remote learning for your children, and even for the respondent itself. That's normal. All of our children now in Indonesia, almost all is home-based learning now. Other things that have a big increase is online streaming, such as Netflix that I said before. So that is the things that have the highest impact after the COVID. Okay, this is the last data that I want to show you. There are 4 quadrants here. So the axis, the y-axis is how many growth during this COVID-19. Low growth, and upper side is high growth. The x-axis here is showing the intention to use this after the COVID-19 finish. For example, already someone found the vaccine, people already not afraid with the COVID-19 anymore. So what is the potential growth after that happens? So it is interesting to see that in the right below box corners, this is something that now the growth is, but in the future after all the COVID finish, the growth will be higher, like grocery delivery here, buy online for in-store pickup, watching electronic sport, online streaming, playing online games, and restaurant delivery. And in the right top box, This is the diamonds that currently have a high growth, and after COVID finish, uh, they still have the high growth. Uh, the sector is remote learning for the respondents, telemedicine, uh, how you met your doctor. If apparently these categories will have a very high growth. Online fitness, wellness application, and telemedicine for mentals, for psychology. So that's the data and analysis that I can show to you, Pak Efrata.
Okay, thank you, Pak. And based on your data, you mentioned that most of the business is growth in the digitalization manners. For example, like groceries, the growth is quite high. And although you mentioned that jewelry has an increase in the way that people buying using a digital, yeah, because your data mentioned that people buying with the digital, but mostly, before the pandemic, people just go to the store, they want to see the jewelry, they want to touch it, yeah. Why it happens like that, Mr. Suryo? What do you think?
Yes, the shifting from offline to online is because now they're afraid to go to the store to select which one they want to buy. So they prefer to do it online. But in overalls, the 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 purchase is slower because even though you can buy it online, jewelry is not prioritized for people now because first many people have less money than before, so their extra money for jewelry is not so much now.
Okay.
And the second one is what is the purpose they buy jewelry now if they cannot show it to other people in the public area because they can only wear it in the home,
Yeah.
in the neighborhood.
Okay, so the numbers of the transaction may be decreased, but the users is increased using the digitalization. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, we got your points. And how about the industry that not going digital? Do you think all industry will go digital, or do you think there are some industry is not going digital during this pandemic? Because based on your presentation, it looks like most of the industry will go digital. Yeah? What do you think? Is there any industry that are not using this opportunity to be digitalize their businesses?
Well, there is first there is some business uh, that must be do it physically. So you cannot do it digitally. Such as uh, there's a data in the maybe first slide is showing that gasoline, where you buy gasoline, no point you buy it online because you need to fill the gasoline in your car. So you can do it while your car is go out in the petrol station. You don't need to. You don't have necessity to order the gasoline online to your home and you fill it and then you go out with your cars. So
Yeah.
that's just example that for some business that really need a physical presence, shifting to digital is not mean that people will buy it online.
Okay, yeah. Some business maybe have a benefit in this era of the pandemic, and then some businesses maybe they can suffer, yeah, because if we talk about gasoline, for example, most of people stay at home, so they don't using their cars. Of course, the consumption of the gasoline will be decreased, right? Yeah, very interesting. Thank you, Mr. Suryo. So we will have discussion now. How about if we talk about the advantage, yeah, the advantages of the digitalization during pandemic. So we already have Mr. Chrisnove in here. So please,
Yes.
Mr. Chrisnove, you can uh, provide your opinion. What is the advantages in the digitalization in business during the pandemic?
Okay, thank you, Pak Efrata. But first of all, I want to explain what is digitalization. Maybe all of us from the previous presentation, I think it's about online marketing, online process for getting your product and services. But I think digitalization is a big word that happens to all the companies, even when we are using email or we're using other materials, other processing using the computers or using the system. It's already being digitalized. So uh, many facets of digitalize have been implemented or embedded into our process or our services in our business. So the one thing that there are many things that have advantages doing this digitalization, like digital presence. This is the probably the most visible advantage because the presence on the internet makes us become more visible to other people which have not been seen before. They multiply the visibility of the company and sales channel, and it's a really good thing. So everybody in the different region of this world can be seen to the other region of this world. So the extended region, extended space, it's became so not so distant anymore. That's the digital presence. And the other one is the new contact channel with customer. That means that we have a new way to communicate with customer, not just doing face to face or doing by mail, but we have other channels like chat, like uh, even like WhatsApp has a business WhatsApp, and then the other channels there are many channels doing uh, customer communications. And this is a good thing too. Social networks, it's already happening now to reach customers and the way to communicate with them. And this is also have a way to increase our sales and loyalty, even the customer loyalty to us, and it's a new other responsibilities. And then the other things that the advantage digital have is the customer at heart of the universe. It means that we are this digital transformation is placing the customer at the center of the business. We make the digitalized system, we make process, we make the all the things to give our customer the benefit of being king. They are being king for our product. That's what our customer wants to. So after that, we also have a constant need of improvement. So we also try to always improve our services to them by using this digital for the customer. And then what else? The digital has advantage over us is a better decision making because uh, with a lot of data, this big data in our company or in our surroundings is there, but previously nobody knows how to do with them, how to deal, and that this data is knowledge, and knowledge leads to better decisions. So when the digitalization happens, it makes possible for us to make a better decision making. The other advantage is it improves efficiency and productivity, of course, that when you use systems or digital process in monitoring, in controlling, in everything that you do, it helps the companies to improve the area of productivity and reducing costs. The other advantage is it encourages innovation. Well, once the movement begins, the inertia will make it hard to stop. The digital transformation create this inertia that will make us want to innovate more and more. The other one, the number 7, it makes communication and teamwork easier. It's already been proven by this time that the COVID-19 happened, and then Zoom or other like Google Meet and other meeting teleconference like this becomes more popular and then more common, and then they use in every day of our life. Previously, we've never been touched this kind of things before, but now it's all happens fast, and then it's became common. The last thing is it improves our working condition. Now this is uh, the other possibility that digitalization is offering. Maybe a company make another or they have another possibilities of new employment, such as flexible working hour or teleworking, like we've done here. We working from home. This is the new employment option. We can work at the office, or we can work at home, or we can do it in our spare time. It's up to us. Now that's, I think, the advantage of the digitalization.
Okay, Mr. Chrisnove, thank you for the advantages, but it is quite surprising because you are not mentioned about increasing profit. Because if people say we are going digital, then they are a cost. Yeah, we are not talking about the revenue. The revenue might be increased, but the cost also might be increased. I just quite wonder why you are not mention the advantages in going digital is making more profit.
Well, for sometimes we already know that in the short term, implementing digital innovation or being digital will uh, need some capital. So in the short term, maybe it will not be seen as it's really making profit. But believe me that in the long term, it will create a really sustainable ways of making profits doing this digitalization. But you have to know that the right digitalization and the right way of doing process is very important too.
Okay, so that's a hidden advantages, right? For
Right.
going digital. Okay, thank you, Mr. Krishnov. And now we can see what is the disadvantages. Yeah. So we already have a point of view from the Mr. Krishnov. Now it's the turn of Mr. Fadjar to tell us what is the disadvantages about going digital, digitalization in the business during this pandemic. So, please, Mr. Fajar, the time is yours.
Okay, now it's my turn. Uh, I'm pretty sure that every people now they are having euphoria on the digitalization, either in the scale of corporate, the scale of personal or individual. They are really enjoy it with the digitalization. But the disadvantage here, I'm going to brief all of you that there is a few disadvantage being digitalization. The first one is about being offline is lead a social exclusion and hinders access to the public service. What I can opinion here that the social is really important for a human being. So if we want to touch through digital, I believe all of you or some people they are not feeling a real experience if they didn't meet and face to face each other. And the other thing is the atmosphere very different when they are in the offline and in the online. So what I can say here that there is a feel that they didn't get it when apply or when using a digital. A virtual maybe a bit sophisticated, but for the real one, you cannot get a truly experience. So I think that's the first that I mentioned about the disadvantage. The second one is about being offline limits a career mobility. So a hidden problem here when you don't have a mobility, so you will lose the a sense of to be more dynamic because you are keeping and you are surrounding by the digital, you are keeping in the one room and then working with your PC or your laptop with the sophisticated of digital, but uh, trust me that it will be a, a problem that people don't understand about the mobility. They have a oration on the mobility uh, to be online. So offline is something like you have a flexibility, you will manage it. Okay, the third one is about the digital divide, also about a skills and learning divide. When you have digital, it's something that you need to be equipped with a skill as well. Whenever you have a very good technology, but the people did equip with the skill, so there will be a waste, and then it not be optimizing and utilizing in a proper uh, way how to leverage the digital benefits. This is the disadvantage, the third one. And the fourth one, responsibility of bridging the gap must be shared. So it means that uh, every corporate, every individual, they have responsible how to, connecting and empower the digital. But in reality, there should be a gap. Should be a gap either from the people skill, as I mentioned before in the point three, or either because of the technology itself. There is a limitation of the technology. We knew that the technology in Indonesia, the internet speed, for example, very weak, and the access through the internet, which is a foundation for build up a digitalization, is also not really flattened until in the rural area, in the village, outside the town or city. So this is actually the responsibility how to closing the gap. This is the disadvantage. And the last part is about the connection. As I mentioned, the reliability internet connection in Indonesia, according to the survey, Indonesia uh, quite low in terms of the speed per second of the internet connections. So what I can conclude here, yes, people has a lot of euphoria about the digitalization, but be careful. The disadvantage is there, and if we can eliminate or we can anticipate, we can prevent for the disadvantage. So means we able to enjoy the digitalization. So that's it. I think Pak Denny for the slides that
Yeah,
brief about the disadvantage of digitalization.
Yeah, very interesting. You see a different point, which is the disadvantages. But you already mentioned about the customer side. What is the disadvantages about the internet? And then you also mentioned about the limited carrier mobility. Yeah, but quite surprisingly, also you maybe hear about the new job that we never heard maybe 10 years ago, yeah, and then suddenly during the digitalization they are a new job, for example like endorsement, and then yeah, another things. Yeah, what is your comment about that, Pak? Why you are not seeing this like benefits in the digitalization?
Okay. Suddenly, several job. I understand and I aware on this, but what I didn't why I didn't emphasize in my slide because the job, those particular jobs, actually something that following the trend, and my personal opinion, it
Hmm.
will not be sustained.
Okay.
And this is linked with the condition of the pandemics. And we knew that before pandemics, those jobs was very rare or maybe not exist in the job list portfolio. But I didn't see that sustainability on their particular job will be stay as is until the pandemic over, because we knew the evolution of the condition very fast now, or the every country they start to create the faction, and then once the factions effectively, it will give an optimistic thinking of the people. And this is actually will be a question mark. uh, are we going back to the previous
Okay.
before pandemic, or we can stay as is uh, with the many job rely on the digitalizations. I
Okay.
think that's one of my reason, Pak
Okay,
Denny.
yeah, quite interesting, yeah, Pak Fajar, because you mentioned that the job maybe already created because of the digitalization, but probably after the pandemic it will be disappeared. So yeah, this is very interesting. So we want to hear what is the benefits from the point of view Mr. Chrisnove tonight about the digitalization, because Mr. Fajar already told about the the, for example, like the job maybe after the pandemic all back to normal, and what we already said, this is the advantages of the digitalization, so there are no more advantage, yeah, because the pandemic's already gone. What do you think, yeah? And then yeah, please tell us your opinion about the benefits of the digitalization, Mr. Krishnov.
Yes. I want to talk first about the one point that Mr. Fajal said in the presentation, being offline limit career mobility. I think, yeah, when you're surrounded only in your house and you didn't have the time to socialize with other people, showing yourself to other people, so it's kind of stuck with your career. Or is it really the mobility of the career or the increment of your career? I don't know. But what I do know that this digitalization makes other job available, other job that we didn't see before, like the UX, user experience expert, or the endorsement of people person, or the uh, job that like a programming for, I don't know, maybe big data or just a data analysis, something that we didn't have before. Then now it's suddenly blooming, big data analysis like that. So it's maybe it's one. I don't I don't seem to be agreed with this career mobility. And then, well, that's on my side. So I'm going to say about the benefits of the digitalization. First, as I mentioned before, that digitalization increased productivity. it allows us to better evaluate all our production process, analyze and intensely each step and identify problem. And you know that by the end of the day, is published by Fujitsu that companies that have embraced digitalization have improved their efficiency by 39%, or we kind of round it into 40%. It's kind of huge efficiency improvement, I think, by being digitalized. And the other one is reducing operating costs, because business digitalization reduce operating costs up to 20% and also improve efficiency. So this digitalization is what I say. It creates a new business models, and it just makes it more leaner, I think. And number three, it improves customer experience, because in business digitalization, you know, customer have a more faster process, more faster apa, answer uh, from the producer or from the service provider. Number four is facilitate internal process integration. Well, this is because of digitalization, the business allows it to be systemized and organized, and development, yeah, the organizational development being systemized. This process uh, makes it more consistent in the work output. So the data that it has is kind of have fundamental role for decision making, and then the implementation of the data, and then the implementation of the decision making makes it the process integration uh, visible or better. Number five is open to new market possibilities. Well, business digitalization create new market, and believe me that this new market is like shown before at Pak Suryo's presentation. This new market is growing, especially during this pandemic. Even though the overall usage or overall market is going slow, but I think that if it's going when it's normal, it's going to be uh, increasing. And then the number six is strengthen and enhance your brand. So digitalization will make their process more fluent, and that also give the organization competitive advantage in the market. So the benefit, I think it's much better overall than the disadvantage, or the benefits it creates is, I think it's much better for the whole company or for the whole environment in business and in personal or customer life. I think that's it, Pak Efrata.
Okay, yeah. Thank you, Pak Chrisnove. Later on, we can pass your question to Mr. Fadjar, but I want to questions you first, because you mentioned about like a lot of benefits, increasing productivity, and then reducing operating costs. But the question is, we see that a lot of a giant company, which is a digital company, but they are doing a layoff, a lot of, and then we can say it, a massive layoff from their workers, yeah. But you are mentioning about reducing operating costs, which is maybe lead to the high profit, of course, yeah, because we know that the profit formula is a very simple, right? Revenue minus the cost, and then we can get a higher profit. But why a lot of company during this pandemic, we can see, yeah, a big company which is a digital company, but they are lay off their workers. What do you think?
Well, I think of course we have to follow the rule because they are reducing operating costs, but we have to see if their revenue is decreasing or not. Because what we have seen from the presentation Pak Suryo gives, maybe they are this company that have really being so hard. They are being struck so hard in this time that they have to make able to survive. But as I said, these digitalizations will create another jobs that didn't have before. Well, I think it's about evolution of everything.
So it's like your benefits, like a little bit question, yeah, about the benefit because you mentioned about the reducing cost, but another side that the company doing a layoff, but actually they are a digital company. So now I'm passing your question to Mr. Fadjar. Please, Mr. Fadjar, you can maybe give a statement to Mr. Chrisnove.
Okay, Mr. Christoph. To be honest, I'm a little bit, you know, willing to arguing your benefits. We knew that the reality itself, as mentioned by Mr. Denny, that a company needs a cash flow. That's why they did a layoff for their employee, or they decreasing the salary or the earning of the employee. So investment or for the digital is expensive. Uh, this also you mentioned that in the short term it won't be deliver the ROI as expected. But how the company will survive if they already sacrifice with the condition before during the pandemic, they have lower their revenue because the onset dropping, and also the cash flow as a fresh float for the company drop. And the other part, they need to transform the technology that they don't have before, and now they have to shift to the digital, and we knew that digital is expensive. So this is also another concern from me is digital cannot change number of humans. I mean, usually Indonesia there is a called padat karya, right? So for industry like manufacture, for industry like non-servicing or entertainment or something like online e-commerce, of course this is a best momentum for them. But remember, there is a lot of industry, non-entertainment or non e-commerce, they are suffer. So digital, we need to see a two different way: individual or corporate. If we talk about individual, of course, individually, a lot of people enjoying. But I will explain later about the losses in my slide. But let's talk about the the corporate wise, because we are talking about business, right? Business digital. So this I've challenged you. How you gonna provide a solution, because it's not easy for the company, even the conglomerate base. In Pak Suryo's slide, he mentioned about jewelry and also the tobacco industry decrease. The curve that mentioned offline and online is decreased. Yes, I agree, because I work for one of the tobacco group. We are now decreasing the revenue, but we are still able to maintain in the acceptable level. So I need your justification on your benefits, because it seems too good to be true, Pak.
Mm, okay. Well, the benefit of digitalization, such as this, well, we can see that technology mainly consists of how many percent of the company? Maybe just 10% or 20%. But the most important thing is the company itself, its product, its customer. The company technology here help the customer to reach better ways to our business, and our business to make it efficient within ourselves. But the company, the technology cannot make the customer. The technology cannot make the business. The technology cannot make its own revenue. Maybe it's the company's uh, it's the company's job to make the customer to make the revenue. I think it's kind of a different aspect, because as I said, technology only the company only consists of technology probably just 20%. The other one is, yeah, like the whole process, like the people, the product, the customer, everything. So I don't see that the benefit is not being the benefit. I see that it's still concurrent, it's still is still good, but you have to have the frame for it.
Okay. So, so what is your keyword on your benefit? Because I'm still curious how to
Okay,
conclude
yeah. Maybe before
the benefit. Yeah.
yeah, before we come back again to the questions, why not you present the losses? Yeah, you only mentioned that some of the disadvantages. Why not we talking about the losses in the digitalization? Maybe there are several points you want to share, Mr. Fajar, so all of us can
Yeah.
have a broad understanding. What is your key messages? Yeah, in this presentation, please, Mr. Fajar.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Certainly. Thank you, Pak Denny.
Yeah, because
So
it's
I
getting
have
hot. Yeah.
five that I mark as a yes. I have five things that I want to rebrief here to everyone's. Uh, the first one is about the expenses, the spending for the data connections. Uh, this is can be involved at individual level, involved at the corporate level, uh, because the data connections to have a very sophisticated, a very reliable data quality for running the digital business, you need to expense more, especially the traffic, the bandwidth increase in this pandemic. All of the activity you shifted into the digital or very less movement. Uh, this is one of the losses that I perceive here. The other thing, if we have a higher expense, uh, again, the all the company they have under pressure from the sales side. So means the bottom they have to keep the bottom line with the effective cash flow. In the other things you need, or every company needs to spend more expense on the data connection. Maybe it's not about how much volume data you need to add on, but you need also to consider how to upgrade the equipment. I mean, the technology behind the digital itself, the server, the storage of, like a machine to keep the customer data. You need to upgrade it, for example. So this is the IT side homework, but the company has to give a more expense about it. I cannot imagine if the small medium enterprise company or a medium to low company, they cannot hang on too much on this. Uh, Otherwise, they have to maybe did some layoff for the employee, or they cut the employee earning to compensate for this additional expense. Maybe yes, maybe no, because this is my presume about the point one. And the other point is about the prosperity. I mean, the degradation of the prosperity we knew many people in Indonesia, in the development country or emerging market like this, there is a threat uh, because the pandemic, there will have a degradation on the prosperity from the mid, low to maybe low. I mean, like the poor people. Uh, it's a very sad that according to the research that we we read in many newspaper on in the public media that we have increasing the unemployment rate and the losses, of course, uh, it also implies on the ability of the people to manage the digitalization in their way. I'm talking about in the individual way, but in the company as well, maybe more on the point one, which is relate on the spending or the capital budget for manage the data. Back to the point two, my keywords actually, digitalization cannot be embraced into the all level. How we gonna work with the something like manage data connection? In the other way, the data connection as well not really good in the rural area. This is very sad, yeah, to hear. And number three is about the routes of the 4PS. We knew that the principle of in the marketing, the people, product, promotion, place. So we're gonna lose the place because it's already replaced by the digital, like Zoom, like MS Team. Business is already covered by a virtual, but the customer experience journey cannot be replaced actually because they getting feel and tone about how to make in offline. Like in the previous slide, Pak Suryo mentioned about the jewelry. Of course, jewelry, the customer will have a very pride if they can touch the jewelry by their hand, rather than just explore it online. And the fourth one, we see, yeah, I see there is a tendency to have a naked price or price war. If we go to the e-commerce or crowdsourcing, it's very transparent among the player like Tokopedia, for example, Bukalapak, for example, or maybe Blibli.com, or maybe Lazada. We can see a differentiate of price uh, very naked in the internet. So they didn't explain really detail what was the benefit of their number that they offer in the in the online. What is the warranty? What is the quality? The differentiation among them, because they just emphasize about the number, uh, and the tendency, of course, is a price war.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr.
The last
Fadjar.
part, I think about the
Okay.
confidentiality, Pak Denny. The confidentiality is really a risk if we apply 100% digitalization. Uh, we knew some company they cannot selling online because the confidentiality part and is a very risk for the company. I think that's all I can conclude the losses if we apply digitalizations, especially for the business. Yeah, I think that's all, Pak.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Very interesting, Pak. And then the one that quite interesting that I don't see that you capture the reality, because you said about the losses, but life must go on, right? And then, for example, like the education, most of the people they must enjoy the education. Although during this pandemic they are learning from their house, and then they, yeah, of course, you say that there is a losses in the data connection. I mean the expensive data connection. Yeah, but what do you think if we see all things is in the losses side, but life must go on. We must continue our activities. Yeah, what happen if we need to continue our activities, but there are a lot of losses, like you mentioned?
Okay. Uh, Easiest thing we need to see the uh, what is the particular activity that can uh, go online, which one we need to go hybrid. What I mean is something like on and off, because if we continuously run the activity using digitalization, it will costly, and you will lose actually a sense of your sociality, because sociality is a part of human needs. That's why you need to blend between offline and online. So this is actually what I see the opportunity to be there, but you need to do a mapping first on that one. So, but again, the more threat, still more threat, and the reality, of course, show must life should go on, activity should go on, but important one, how you make uh, a win-win between the digitalization and non-digitalization that I most prefer. We
Okay.
need to keep on as well. Yeah.
Okay, so it's like you start to go in the middle, yeah. Going win-win now. I pass it to Mr. Christoph. Maybe you have any concern, Mr. Christoph?
Uh, uh, well, I didn't seems to concur, or I don't agree with the degradation of prosperity because of digitalization. Maybe because of the environment of, or because of the season, because this is a COVID season. But like I said before, that digitalization is about making things faster and more reliable. But on the other side, there's a business itself which creates revenues and sales and profits. So the digitalization, I don't think that it's degrades the prosperity, but I believe that digitalization can improve the efficiency of the business, but uh, digitalization is just a tool. Technology is just a tool for the company. When the tools played wrong, played in the different time, then it will have different effect. So that's my keynotes on the losses number two.
I think I still need to have a more clarification from you, Pak Krishnov, because if we're talking about the current condition, the prosperity certainly will be a very under pressure. I mean, for this condition of the pandemic, everyone will keep their cash, will keep more on the foods and healthy. They don't want to see to spend a lot of uh, cash or capital buying the technology, because digital is a technology. So I cannot imagine how much the server SAP server cost or ERP server cost. Is very, very expensive. So if you mention about benefit of the digitalization, what I can perceive here is in the normal condition, yes. But in the pandemic, if the company spending more on the capital on the digitalization, there will be a very hard for the company retain the bottom line. So this is what I mentioned about the prosperity. It's not on the individual scope, but also on the customer scope. Not customer, sorry, corporate scope. So this one, you need to see in a different condition, in a different perspective. In the normal way, we also see marketing, they have above the line, they have below the line, right? Above the line, they are, you leverage the technology using the electronic media like television. Yes, that's a digitalization, right? But in the offline, they have to conduct a trade exhibition or trade promotion. They interact face to face with their customer. I'm trying to see in the marketing way, yeah, uh, because this is a very suitable example, Pak Chrisnove. So again, yeah, your benefits, yes, it's proven, but you have to be separate because we are talking about reality now in this pandemic condition, and we don't know where is the end of pandemic situation. So if the company want to change or want to transform, so they have to really careful what scope they are going to transfer to digital, or what, how many capital they can spend transform to the digital from previous era before pandemic in this era.
Okay, now that's one that I agree, Pak, because the digitalization means the tool, and then these tools we have to be more wiser to choose because the cost of implementation, cost of capital that involved in it, and that's why that uh, I think that we cannot just wildly implement digitalization to our company, even though that the situations change, like anything else also change, and this is the new ocean that the digital became the prevalent winner here. So I think that in the long run, I think that these digitalization things, the online things will be there because some people or many people have already enjoyed the process of moving from online or from offline to online.
I have a question, Pak Christoph, to you. Do you think that the job that become a trend, a new particular jobs become a trend, like content creator or something like many jobs that relate to the digitalization, especially during pandemic, it will sustain or not after the pandemic ended?
Probably some of the job will stay. I believe like UX expert, user experience expert, or content creator. I think they will still be there because what we need because people uh, want to be more efficient, want to be more easier with the touch of the button, with the touch of their thumb. Everything comes to their home. That the touch of their thumbs in their phones created by a UX expert, and that is the content that they have also came from the content creator. I believe some of the job will be there, will sustain for I don't know, maybe a few years later, but it's still evolving. Every job in this world is evolving, I think.
Okay, yeah, quite interesting for the discussion. Maybe we can go back to our subject matter expert, Mr. Suryo Prasetya. You already heard the discussion about the benefit, the loss, advantages, disadvantages, or is there any conclusion from your side, Mr. Suryo? Or probably you can mention that we can have both digitalization and non-digitalization in the middle. So maybe your suggestion for the company in Indonesia, especially, should they go to digital, or maybe they just pretend their current business, or maybe they are choice number three, right? They adopt the digitalization and then also they doing business as usually. What do you think, Mr. Suryo?
I think we heard good argument from both sides, Pak Chrisnove and Pak Fadjar. Uh, so what I like to mention here is uh, one of the digitalization in business is on the selling channels. So this is where the same product that you sell offline before at the store, now you sold it at the online channel or online store. So for this kind of digitalization is, I think it's a must try to expand your market during, especially during this pandemic or even after the pandemic. But you can still maintain the offline store or selling, because the data that I show you before is also show that there are still many people that still love purchase offline. Even during this pandemic, they still purchase it offline. So this market segment is might be dominated by those people who still have limited internet access, or those customer who is the type of people that afraid to switch to online because maybe they are not understand of the technology because they're old maybe, or those people is afraid that they will get fraud if they switch to purchase things online. Is there any guarantee that you will success if you try online channels? No, I don't think so. You may still lose the battle with other online channel from your competitors. Many people already also try these channels, but you obviously will lose your market from your customer who already have a fully switch to digital mind if you don't try these channels. So this is happened to many small medium enterprise in Indonesia in the past few years and increased significantly during the COVID. So my suggestion is, for now, keep both your channel online and offline to serve both markets. Evaluate the cost and benefit progress for the offline market, and you can adjusting decrease your offline channels if you think along the times the market share is keep decreasing. You can, for example, you have a few offline store, brick and mortar store, you can close it one this year, and then proportionally if still decrease next year you close another stores. So you can do it along the time. For other type of digitalization, which is digitalization of process of work in your business, it is worth to try if it can reduce the future operational costs and or raise more revenue more than the digitalization cost itself. But I don't suggest this digitalization process if you as a business owner don't believe that there are benefit coming from this digitalization. Then don't do it if you're not sure the benefit.
Okay, yeah. Thank you for the conclusion, Mr. Suryo. So we can think, yeah, close this session for all of us. So before we finish it, closing remarks from Mr. Chrisnove as the person who see the point of view in the advantages and then the benefits of the digitalization. What is your closing remarks, Mr. Chrisnove?
Well, from what I see is digital like the ones before. Digital makes your company faster. It makes your process faster. It's more efficient. But like I said, the digital technology is a tool that has to be used in the precise moment. Know your strengths and weaknesses, and then when you apply the digital, make sure that it really impacts your revenues, also your bottom line. I think that's it.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Christoph. And now we can hear the closing remarks from Mr. Fadjar. Yeah, please, Mr. Fadjar. We cannot hear you. I think you are
Okay,
on mute.
sorry.
Okay.
My closing remark here actually just want to emphasize that digital is something like you have to invest, and the other thing is when you invest, it's require a lot of costs, and there is a several hidden or threat when using a digital. The first one is a fraud. The second one is a huge cost, and the other thing is the confidentiality. So how to deal with this threat? And the other thing, I think the last part is about the generation, as mentioned by Pak Suryo, that the old people maybe they don't have a skill or they don't have to ability to leverage the digitalization. So yeah, this is a challenge and also a threat for the digital as well. That's actually my closing remark.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Pak Fajar. And before we close, I want to say to you quotes about digitalization from MIT Sloan and Gemini, which is 90% of CEOs believe the digital economy will impact their industry, but less than 15% are executing on a digital strategy. And then the second quote is from Simeon Preston, Bupa. The biggest part of our digital transformation is changing the way we think. So that is our session tonight, and this is four of us, me, Efrata, and then Mr. Suryo, our subject matter expert, and then our speaker, Mr. Chrisnove Harisandi, and Mr. Fadjar Andi Wibowo. Thank you very much for the discussion tonight, Pak. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Pak
you.
Efrata.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you,
you,
Pak Fadjar.
Pak.
Thank you,
Okay,
Pak
yeah.
Christoph.
Thank you, Pak. We can do it again, yeah. Sometimes don't fight. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank
Okay,
you. Thank
yeah.
you.
Okay,
Everyone.
guys, friends, colleagues, that's all from four of us. We are in the separate locations, but we can join together in the discussion in this channel. That is about the digitalization as well. Yeah, me, Efrata from ESCM Indonesia, enabling supply chain management. Want to say, stay healthy. Thank you very much for watching us, and then have a good evening. Goodbye.